Well, it should be pretty clear by now that I didn't do this because it was good politics. I did it because I believed it was good for the country. I did it because I believed it was good for the American people.
Joining me now, Academy Award-winning filmmaker and activist Michael Moore. Tomorrow is the 5-year anniversary of the release of his Oscar-nominated documentary SiCKO on the health insurance industry. Michael, thank you very much for joining me tonight. The president said he didn't do this because it was a political winner, but he sure looked like a political winner today and seemed to me that he found a way of describing what he was trying to do in healthcare that really got through to people.
Yeah, it might have been the first actual time he's been on TV and explaining what exactly the healthcare law was about that made perfect, clear sense. I mean, if everyone in America had been tuning into that, I think there would have been loud cheers throughout the country. It's a huge day. It's a great victory. Now, as you know, you and I, very critical of the bill that got passed because we thought, it was fairly watered down and not as far as it should go. It's going to need to go further in the years to come, obviously. And we all need to keep working toward a true universal healthcare system that doesn't leave 26 million people uninsured, as the current law does now, and as you so wonderfully and eloquently pointed out on your show last night. But having said that, I mean, our side, we get so few victories that it's important to celebrate when the ball gets moved down the field. And maybe you and I want the ball to move 50 yards down the field, and it maybe only went 20 yards down the field, but it moved down the field. And that's the big news of the day, I think, is that there's no going back now.
Well, yeah, Michael, I think the huge win here is that this bill will go forward. Most of the implementation will go forward. We're going to see what happens on the Medicaid piece, but it won't be scary anymore. There was this scary sensation about it, and that the public had, and the notion that it was unconstitutional, I think, added to this thing that the public had about I'm afraid of that thing, and now that's settled, and it is settled by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court.
Right. One of their own on their side of the political fence did the right thing, and I'm sure a lot of them are upset tonight. People, conservatives, Republicans, people on the right. But at some point, I guess, I don't know, maybe Mr. Roberts is a man of conscience, and part of that conscience says that it would be immoral to upend this bill. But what was so great about him, Lawrence, is that not just that he sided with the liberals. I mean, that would have been enough to just kind of blow all of our minds, right? But he was the one who actually wrote the majority opinion, and not only that, he felt that the government really didn't make its primary argument about the Commerce Clause adequately, so he went and tried to help them essentially write their paper for them. And came up with the tax clause. I mean, he really went the extra mile to make this happen. And
he did, and he said in the opinion that that's the Supreme Court's job. He quoted Oliver Wendell Holmes saying, "It is our job to go in and find the constitutionality support for it, even if the council doesn't make the right argument."
Right. He does not like the idea of universal health care. I don't think in the past has cared much for Obama. President Obama did not vote for him onto the Supreme Court, and Chief Justice Roberts messed up his oath of office on the opening day. So, but I just think, this victory, I think, really should be a mandate for all of us now to just keep moving forward so that everyone is covered, and so that the profit-making insurance companies are not running the show. They're still running the show. That piece of it is going to screw this thing up somewhere down the line. People are still going to be hurt on some level because the decision about the bottom line is still going to be there. That has to be removed. And we're 65 years behind the rest of the Western industrialized world. I know that we're slow learners sometimes, but geez, this is like, come on now, this is... Okay, we've got this piece of it. Now let's move forward and get the next piece and the next piece. And there's no going back, though. We're on the path leading toward this universal health care. We're not on the path back to Oliver Twist. Those days are gone. And the Republicans and conservatives who are sitting there around thinking tonight, yeah, we're going to turn this thing around. I'm telling you, friends, this is a huge locomotive. And as the American public experiences the parts of this bill that are really great, they're not going to want to turn that train around. And so you better get on the train or watch your party implode. That's my words of advice to the
and Michael,
Republican
one of
Party.
the things that's great about it is that the health insurance companies. I'm remembering one of the scenes of your movie with Linda Pino, whose job it was to not deny people coverage. That is no longer a job in these health insurance companies. It's no longer a legal job anyway.
That's right. That job is done. They actually hired doctors. She worked at Humana, and they hired doctors to sit there and decide who gets to live and who gets to die. And she couldn't take it anymore. She went and testified in Congress because she essentially felt that she'd killed a number of people because the company was saying, look, we're not going to make a profit if you pay all these claims that people are sending in to us. This should never happen. Nobody should be sitting in charge like God there, and nobody should be making a profit off of somebody's misfortune and illness. That really has to stop all across the board. And
Michael Moore gets tonight's last word. Thank you very much, Michael.
Hey, thank you, Lawrence. And President Obama, next time, watch MSNBC when there's a big historic decision to be made.
Right. Yeah, we actually report what happens. Michael, thank you very much. The Ed Show is up next.